Happy Memorial Day Sunday. And I invite us to just take a moment to close our eyes if that's comfortable for you, and to feel gratitude in our hearts as you silently affirm with me or following me. I honor the courageous and selfless service of those who gave their lives in service to our country. I honor the courageous and selfless service of those who gave their lives in service to our country. I honor the courageous and selfless service of those who gave their lives in service to our country. Memorial Day in the US is a time to honor the men and women in the military who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their country. I invite you to hear these words as your words. With deep respect, I honor the brave men and women around the earth whose service has made the world a better place. I hold them in my heart with gratitude for my freedom and my safety. In this moment of prayer, I inwardly honor those who have served our nation. I honor them outwardly by allowing their example to inspire my own endeavors. As I pay homage to the courage and generosity of those who selflessly served and who made the ultimate sacrifice, I also appreciate those qualities in myself and the people I care about. I am grateful for the willingness of people everywhere to give of themselves, creating a better world for all. And again, I affirm, I honor the courageous and selfless service of those who gave their lives in service to our country. And so it is. Amen. Well, on a lighter note, I have to tell you the story that many of you have heard before about the Memorial Day Sunday when the minister honored all who died in service. And afterwards, a little boy came up to him and asked, which service, the 9 o'clock or the 11 o'clock? Well, welcome to Unity Santa Fe, where we support, nourish, and inspire one another to live in service and to remember and remind each other of our oneness and divinity. So there are several divine paradoxes, but the one I want to talk about today is the paradox that it is in giving that we receive. And the receiving that I'm talking about today is prosperity itself. Michael Beckwith defines prosperity as the feeling tone of all needs met. The feeling tone of all needs met. It reminds me of the idea that joy is what faith feels like. That feeling tone of all needs met is, to me, the profound joy of knowing with absolute certainty all is well. No matter what. No matter what I see with these human eyes of mine, no matter what the appearance, all is well. That's faith. That's prosperity. Wow. So in Unity, we teach that faith forms substance. It reaches into the invisible and forms the visible. The substance of the abundant that is the universe we live in. That's the substance that faith forms. So as we give this faith through this feeling tone of all needs met, we radiate it not only to every cell and atom of our body, we radiate it to the body of others and to all creation. So we are giving the energy of prosperity. We are helping create a field of prosperity energy. And we're creating this field of prosperity not just for ourselves, but for everyone and for all creation. So truly, this gift is the gift that keeps on giving. And the more we give it, the more we receive it. You know, when I was taking my walk this morning and I was kind of going through my notes in my head, when I got to that part, I thought people are going to say, oh my God, she's going to talk about tithing. Well, today I'm not talking about tithing of your money. I'm talking about tithing on a much greater scale, much more than 5, 10, or 15% or more of what you may tithe of your money. I'm talking about the 100%, the 1,000%, the 1,000,000% tithing of prosperity itself. That feeling tone of prosperity, which is unlimited, unbounded, and can never be depleted, and which is there for the giving, unless we block it. So this is the second of a 7-part series based on Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith's Shift Network course, Tap into Infinite Abundance by Activating Enlightened Prosperity Consciousness. So my heart's desire is for today's message to support you in keeping what you give away. The human condition is many people have an undiagnosed condition of what Michael Beckwith calls intention deficit disorder. Intention deficit disorder. He says that's the failure to put your attention on your intention. I love that. And so the spiritual solution is to do that, to put your attention on your intention. So what is prosperity? I just want to briefly go over some of the things that I shared from Michael Beckwith last week. Again, I've already said one of them, and that he defines prosperity as a feeling tone of all needs met. So just imagine having all your needs met. Feel the feeling tone of that, and let that feeling tone vibrate in every cell and atom of your body and radiate it out. So prosperity is about abundance. It's about a field of energy, of unlimited substance that's everywhere present, can never be depleted or exhausted. It's a field of wealth that in Unity and New Thought we call substance, that invisible substance out of which all that is visible comes. And this unlimited substance is available to anyone who develops their awareness of it and raises their consciousness in alignment with it. So again, in this week's material, Michael Beckwith reminds us that raised prosperity consciousness requires a level of practice in which the very neurons of our brain shift in a way that we can see reality differently. So when do we use this idea? Well, we can use it anytime, day or night, 24/7, to remind ourselves of the truth, especially in those times when we find ourselves in lack consciousness. In late June of 1995, I was looking at new homes built by my cousin in a very expensive area of Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. And I was looking all around me from this hilltop, and as far as I could see, there were these non-beachfront homes, and back then they were starting at 800,000. I'm sure I can't even imagine what they are today. And I don't know what the beachfront homes were selling for at that time or now. But as I observed this, I had a major aha that was beyond the intellect. I suddenly had a knowing in every cell in my body that this really is an abundant universe. And if there's this much money for this many homes at this price, I thought, wow, there's enough for me and my little condo in Santa Fe. Again, that was back in 1995. And I continued that knowing and feeling and observing it. And I remember several months later, I was attending a seminar in West Hollywood. And while I was being driven around the Hollywood and Beverly Hills area, I was again aware of the abundant prosperity everywhere I looked, from private estates to office buildings. And so since then, I have never doubted this truth, that this is an abundant universe and there's more than enough for me. And when this realization led me to taking an early separation package offered by the Los Alamos National Lab in the fall of 1995, my mantra, along with God is my source and my consciousness of God is my supply, became, this is an abundant universe and there's more than enough for me. And anytime the opposing lie that had previously been what Michael Beckwith calls my personal law came up and tempted me to abandon this truth, I would again affirm, this is an abundant universe. There's more than enough for me. And I went way beyond saying the words. I felt it. I remembered seeing that scene in Wrightsville Beach. I remembered seeing those places in Hollywood and Beverly Hills. And I would also affirm, God is my source and my consciousness of God is my supply. And I would feel that knowing of truth. And I ask everyone in the congregation to know this with me as I left this lucrative position at the Los Alamos National Lab to become the minister of Unity Santa Fe for $300 a week. 1 week paid time off, no health insurance, no disability insurance, just the opportunity to preach all the sermons I could preach. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, that decision was the greatest prosperity demonstration of my life because it forced me to live in the feeling tone of all needs met before I even knew that term, and to experience the words in Malachi 3, verse 10. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse so that there may be food in my house, and thus put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts. See if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down for you, an overflowing blessing. Well, I put the Lord of hosts to the test, and indeed, the windows of heaven were opened for me, and an overflowing blessing has continually been pouring down for me in these past almost 27 years of ministry at Unity Santa Fe. But there's something you got to watch out for as you practice this practice. And that is thinking that prosperity is just something that you get. No, prosperity is something that's within you. It's something that is your divine inheritance that Michael and I are inviting you and setting you free to express, to radiate, in order to transmute and transcend any limiting condition, situation, and personal laws that have become, personal lies that have become personal laws in your life. And also to remember from last week's message, to be aware that these lies that we have grown up believing may be acting as personal laws in our lives. And so we have to neutralize those lies so they no longer are acting as personal law in our lives. Now, when Michael Beckwith talks about activating prosperity, he's talking about perceiving and seeing life in such a way that the neurons in the brain create a new perceptual reality that allows you to live in a field of expanded prosperity consciousness and enlightened prosperity consciousness. And that you are able to live in this field of expanded prosperity consciousness to the extent you live and radiate the feeling tone of all needs met right now. Not all needs met, may be met tomorrow. No, all needs are met right now. This is affirmative prayer at its best, knowing all needs are met right now. And he reminds each of us that I don't need to know how they are met. That's not my business. My business is to be the feeling tone of all needs met, the expanded awareness of all needs met. During my last spiritual direction session with Robert Brummett a few weeks ago, he shared a quote from a Zen teacher named Sherry Huber, who said, "Your life is none of your business. Your business is your practice. When you do your practice takes care of your life." Wow, how empowering is that? I just keep saying it over and over. My life is none of my business. My business is my practice. When I do my practice takes care of my life. And Michael reminds us to remember that we are pure awareness. You are pure awareness itself. He says you have a body, you have a mind, you have possessions, but they're in your field of awareness because you are aware, and you are awareness itself. Just like our second core value, awareness with a capital A, pure awareness. And our practice, Michael says, is to bring our attention to our intention to embrace prosperity and to be prosperous. That's our intention for this moment. So wrap your attention around that. Your intention is to embrace prosperity and to be prosperous. Again, your intention, my intention, our intention is to embrace prosperity and to be prosperous. He says that intention is like a rudder on the ship. It gives us direction. We're sitting with this ever expanding intention, and we're not making anything happen. We're not forcing anything. We are intending. We're intending to embrace prosperity, and we're intending to be prosperous. I call this resting in don't know mind, putting it on the altar, knowing I don't know how, I just know what. And that what is the feeling tone of all needs met. That what is my intention to be prosperous and to embrace prosperity. I love this piece from Michael. He says, so many people on the planet suffer from an intention deficit disorder. They're not living with any intention. They're just moving into the world, seeing what's going to happen. But not you, he says, not now. You are growing in intention. You are embracing prosperity. That's your intention. You are being prosperous. That's your intention. You are not making anything happen. You're making yourself available. You know, as we are lifted up into this atmosphere of harmonizing prosperity consciousness, what Michael calls sacred abundance, We are lifting each and every individual in this service today into this feeling tone of all needs met. We are lifting up every single individual into the frequency of embracing and being embraced by prosperity and being strong enough and willing enough to be prosperous. So how do we put this to practice out there where the rubber meets the road? Well, you know that answer. It's prayer and meditation on and off the cushion. It's formal practice, and it's what unified mindfulness we call micro hits throughout the day. You know, denying those lies of lack and limitation, not letting those become our personal law or remain our personal law if they are already, and affirming truth, giving it power in our lives by creating new thought neural nets that work for us and not against us. It's about putting our attention on our intention to be prosperous and to be prosperity in action, to feel that prosperity, to feel that all needs met tone. You know, in our Sunday evening prosperity circle, which I apologize, we didn't make a big deal of last week, but I want to invite you at 6:30, from about 6:30 to 7:30 on Sunday nights during this series. We are doing a prosperity circle, and you're all invited. And we're actually including the 8 steps into divine mind consciousness, in which we can know for each other what we may not or may have trouble knowing for ourselves individually. I can know it for you, what I can't know for myself. You can know for me what I may not be able to know for myself. So last night during the circle, or last Sunday during the circle, I shared a statement that this statement Michael Beckwith says he loves. A lie believed acts as law until neutralized. A lie believed acts as law until neutralized. I had mentioned it in the Sunday message last week. And so in our prosperity circle Sunday evening, we were discussing this quote, and I decided to actually look up the definition of neutralize, because, you know, sometimes I think I understand what neutralize mean. I sort of think of it as one of those stun guns, you know, going to neutralize that puppy. But I was even more surprised when I read the formal definition, because neutralize means to render something ineffective or harmless by applying an opposing force or effect. To render something ineffective or harmless by applying an opposing force or effect. And in this case, we are neutralizing the lies that we have believed that have been acting as a law in our life. And we neutralize them by living in a feeling tone of all needs met, created by knowing the truth that this is an abundant universe. There's more than enough for me. God is my source, and my consciousness of God is my supply. That's how we neutralize those lies, those laws. So your call to action today is to neutralize the law and those lies have caused in your life, and to step into that feeling tone of all needs met, which is prosperity itself. And so I want to invite you to begin experiencing this right now as we sit, being one together in a sacred time of shared prayer. So let's take a moment and just stretch up and settle in. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, clear the mind, open the heart. And in this relaxed state of being, I invite you to feel good by bringing yourself to a feeling tone of all needs met. If you don't know it, know that I know it for you. And imagine knowing it. Imagine that feeling tone of all needs met. Feel the truth of your absolute oneness with this field of infinite opportunities and possibilities. Open your receptivity to the abundance by radiating this feeling tone of enlightened prosperity. As you hear Michael Beckwith's words through my voice, he invites us, feel the vibration of willingness and be willing to be prosperous right now. Say to yourself, I'm so willing to be prosperous right now. I am so willing to embrace prosperity. My intention is to embrace prosperity. My intention is to be prosperous, and it is happening right now. I am more willing to be prosperous than any time in my life. My intention for prosperity is at an all-time high. I'm willing to embrace prosperity like never before. My intention for prosperity is at an all-time high. Feel into that. Now, in this moment of feeling into prosperity and intending it and willing it, be captured by this tonal quality of gratitude that you're already prosperous this very second, right now. All your needs are met in this second, right now. It is a field of prosperity and abundance, a field of being prosperous, a field of gratitude. This is our field, and our feeling tone is emanating from this field. You have the capacity, and you do it anyway, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. You have the capacity to create whatever is necessary in your life out of no thing at all. And what does Michael mean by that? You represent the presence that's never in absence. We could say you represent God. We can say you represent limitless love, intelligence. You have this faculty, and this faculty is that you get to think independent of any experience. You have that capacity. That's how creation operates. Out of no thing, everything comes. Nothing but an idea. Now he says most people react to circumstances, but you're going to respond from the field of abundance. You're going to learn to respond from the field of prosperity, respond from the feeling tone of abundance, so that you're taking sovereignty over your own life, your own being, your own energy, so that life begins to unfold greater and greater expressions of all needs met. And when thoughts of limitation arise, when lies come to your awareness, just you don't do anything with those lies. You just are aware of them. You deny them power to be a law in your life. And you meet whatever happens to you energetically. You feel what happens to you energetically when you hear that someone has been given a great blessing. We just celebrate. I want you to celebrate and give thanks for any good that happens anywhere on the planet, he says. When any good fortune befalls anyone, know that that's a win-win for everyone. When any good happens anywhere, it's going into the mental atmosphere of our planet, and it assists everyone in rising. When we learn to celebrate another person's good, everyone is rising. And we begin to feel grateful, and we get into that feeling tone of gratitude. And we see that whatever's happening to someone else, we're projecting it. And that's that we're projecting that which is within us onto someone else. We're training the very neurons in the brain, in our emotional center, that whatever good is happening anywhere is happening right here. And we're celebrating it. And whatever lies we told ourselves, we just give those lies, we dissolve them into the nothingness from which they come, and we do not allow them any power to dominate our perception. And this is a moment to respond from a higher frequency and to claim the prosperity that's in us, that is our true nature, to know that we are all one with the presence. And this is our baseline for abundance. This baseline from abundance, whether we tap into it by our love of nature, our love of the cosmos, our love of humanity, or from our deep solitude. Wherever you tap into this abundance from, do it right now and be willing to be prosperous. See in your mind's eye and in your heart space, see good happening somewhere to someone you know about, or make it up. It doesn't matter. Just see this good happen. Inwardly begin to celebrate that good. Feel so happy for them. Feel so grateful, because when someone wins, everyone wins. And you begin to see that what you're seeing, the good in another, that it's in you. See it, feel the celebration. The good that you've seen in another, whether you made it up or whether it's something that you really know about, you could not see it unless it was not within you. It's alive in you. You're embracing that good right now. This is you. This is your inheritance. This is your frequency. Say that now. This is who I am. This is my frequency. This is my vibration. And then Michael suggests just tap on your chest. Tap on your chest area to activate not only the immune system, but a memory pattern in your body around your willingness to be prosperous, your willingness to engage prosperity, your willingness. You're in this field of all things met, a field of abundant, harmonizing prosperity, opulence, affluence. You're in a different field. You have intention. You're not intentionally deficit. You're not suffering from an intention deficit disorder. Your intention is to embrace prosperity, to be prosperous. Your awareness is embracing that intention. Your any errand thoughts that come up are just a lie, and so you deny them power over you. You say to them, that's a lie. It has no power over me. So I invite you to feel that intention, rest in that feeling tone of all things met in a few minutes of silence. So as we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, silently say thank you, divine nature as prosperity, for the wisdom to live in the feeling tone of all needs met, to radiate enlightened prosperity consciousness to all creation. Thank you for the wisdom to remain in the feeling tone of all needs met right now. Thank you for the wisdom to take it with me to every moment of my day. Thank you for the wisdom to put my attention on my intention to be prosperous, to be and raise my prosperity consciousness. Thank you, my divine nature as prosperity itself. Thank you, thank you, thank you that it is so and so it is. Amen. And so before we go into our closing song, I just have to say that as I read Michael's words and as I share them with you, I can't help but allow his energy to, motivate and activate my own energy. And it reminds me of a Unity minister, Jack Boland, who many years ago, he was holding a truth for Mary Morrissey. And she said, that she had this intention to build this spiritual center. And he asked her how long she thought it would take. And she said, oh, about 10 years. And he said, well, do you believe it could happen in a year? And she said, no. And he said, well, do you believe that I believe it could happen in a year? And she said, well, yeah, you're Jack Boland. Of course you do. And of course I believe you believe it. And he said, then allow me to believe it for you. So I'm inviting you to let Michael Beckwith and let me and let Jack Boland know this truth for you until you can know it with as much enthusiasm as possible. All right. So with that, let's go to our closing song.
When I'm worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep, and I fall asleep, counting my blessings. When my bankroll is getting small, I think of when I had none at all, and I fall asleep, counting my blessings. I think about a nursery, and I picture curly heads. And one by one I count them as they slumber in their beds. If you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you fall asleep, counting your blessings. I think of all the folks I love and picture their sweet smiles, and count the precious moments that we share across the miles. So if you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep, counting your blessings.
Oh, thank you, Catherine, for doing such beauty with Irving Berlin's words. So I just realized that two of our blessings, I will wait till next week to appreciate. Actually, I wanted to do it this week because we have two new members, and that's Lisa Reed and Susanna Node. And I just really want to celebrate them. And next week, we'll actually do an induction during the service. So, except I think Lisa's not going to be here, is the challenge. So, So I'm trying to think on my feet here, everybody. So I'd like you just to at least take a moment to acknowledge, without me going through the whole induction process, our two new members, Susanna Node. And Susanna is our Unity Santa Fe business administrator. She loves yoga, hiking, healing practice, and Buddhism. And she was attracted to become a member of Unity Santa Fe because of the prayer chaplain program and the classes and our services. And I'm delighted that she also will be anointed as a prayer chaplain soon. And so that's just wonderful. And then we have Lisa, who I'm trying to read her notes that I just got. She loves practicing gardening. No, she loves gardening, painting, gardening, hiking. I just got her notes, so I'm having a hard time reading them. And anyway, and loves being a grandparent. And she is really inspired to be a member also by being more, because of a desire to be more active, participate more, and to be a prayer chaplain. So also she will be a prayer chaplain in our coming up prayer chaplain season. So we want to welcome both Susanna and Lisa. So, okay. So now let's bless our offering. Now, because certainly those are blessings that we want to count. So I invite you to take the time right now to experience the divine paradox in this regard, that it is in giving we receive. And as you listen to the offering song, I want you to take a moment to either bless the offering you've already sent, write the check you would have written in the sanctuary, or click on the give button, the give link that Tanya is posting in the chat box now. And know that whether you mail a check, give through online banking, or give on our webpage, that this is your opportunity to give as source of Unity Santa Fe, a source of yours and others' spiritual nourishment. And I invite you to join me for a virtual love offering candle lighting ceremony by seeing yourself going to the altar in the sanctuary with your prayer slip and your gift, feeling the joy of giving as you light a virtual candle. And remember, you are the light of the world. As you place your candle on a virtual bed of salt, remembering you are the salt of the earth. And as you place your gift in a virtual basket on the altar. And let's do that now as Catherine sings us with the perfect song for today, As I Give.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully, gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully. so do I receive, offering my first and best. As I give, so do I receive, knowing how I've been blessed. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know as I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, back to where my soul is fed. As I give, so do I receive. Thank you for my daily bread. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know as I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
Thank you, Catherine. All right. So now I invite you to get into that feeling tone of all needs met as we pray together, even though you're muted, our offering blessing. In a universe overflowing with unlimited abundance, all the needs of Unity Santa Fe and those we serve are bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good comes to us now. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all I am, all I have, all I joyously give, and all I joyously receive. Feel that joy, feel that gratitude, feel that joy and gratitude transform into generosity, and allow that feeling tone of great gratitude and gratefulness and joy and generosity to permeate every cell and atom of your body, allow it to radiate into all creation, acting like a mighty magnet, bringing more and more to you to receive, to be joyful about, grateful for, generous with. And so it is. Amen. And our prayer for protection, Unity Santa Fe style. The light of God I am surrounds me. The love of God I am enfolds me. The power of God I am protects me. The presence of God I am watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. All right.